Hi everybody, this is Jeremy Siskind. I'm the author of Playing Solo Jazz Piano, as well as the Jazz Piano Fundamentals series. And I want to talk with you about something I've been noticing with my students. It's not the sexiest topic for a video. I'm not going to tell you about a cool new scale or a fancy new technique, but a common mistake that I see being made, which is that I see a lot of students bring their right hand up an extra octave to play the melody because they are sensing that their left hand and right hand are getting in the way of one another. So for instance, for Stella by Starlight, the melody is written here, but it gets very low, right? That's below middle C now, and then it kind of hangs out there below middle C for a little while. And then it goes up. So what I see a lot of students doing as a solution, because it's hard to comp when that melody gets below middle C, is putting their melody up here. Now, no problems. But look at what starts to happen. We're getting really high. Okay. This is not the worst thing that anybody's ever done, to play the melody up there. But I think it's a poor defense mechanism for a lot of people. Why? Well, A, you can't be playing the melody up high all the time. So sometimes you have to bring it down below. B, to me, I always want to envision my melody. I want to imagine my melody being sung by a singer or maybe played by a horn player. And when it's all the way up here, and especially, by the bridge, when it's getting up here, it's not really plausible that somebody is singing that unless you have an operatic soprano. So as jazz pianists, we need to get good at having our hands share a lot of space. And I want to show you how. First, let me just demonstrate, and then I'm going to tell you what I'm doing to make it work. And I have a special zoom in the middle camera prepared, so that we can kind of see how this works. So I want you to keep an eye in particular on my two thumbs, which are usually posing the biggest problem in terms of getting in one another's way. Problem's over. Let's do it one more time so you can keep an eye on those thumbs. Okay. So what am I doing in order to make this work? So the first thing just is simply that I'm doing it. I'm not shying away from it. So just practice having the two hands occupy the same space. Okay. I know you're like, I could have figured that out myself. Second thing is I'm really using the depth of the keys. And what I mean by that is I'm using kind of this longness of the key in order to have my hands more able to share space. So as I begin, my left hand is much further up and my right hand is much further back. This is generally my default, and this is kind of a way that I share space, but it is gonna change based on white key, black key pattern. Obviously you can't really hang back if you're gonna be playing a lot of black keys. You need to be a little bit further up. So watch in terms of the depth. See, both my thumbs can be on this F as long as this one's a little bit further towards the piano and this one's a little further towards the edge. Now watch what's gonna happen here. The right hand thumb has to go to this B flat for the melody. And so my left hand now becomes the outside hand, the hand more on the edge. See what's happening here? Look at how much further in my right hand is, and my left hand's much further out. So like there's just a topography going on the keyboard where, yeah, the two hands might be sharing some space in terms of the keys, but they're actually in different locations on the keyboard. Very key. Pun now intended. Okay, so that's the first thing, is figure out where to place your hands in terms of the depth of the key. Second thing is maybe simple, so I'm going to combine it with the fourth thing. So timing refers to that you can choose where to put your comps. Okay, so you don't always have to put your comps in a certain place, and if my two hands are getting very close to each other, I am often going to kind of reserve a comp, or I'm going to delay a comp until I actually have the space. So for example, right, my left hand is waiting for these spaces in the right hand in order to comp. I'm not trying to go like, if I really had to, I guess I could, but I'm really trying instead to wait for those spaces. I had a student ask me about playing A Night in Tunisia, and he's like, I don't know how to do it. The melody starts really low. And to me, it's actually not that hard of a problem. You just wait in the left hand. So I'm kind of taking my left hand off the keyboard while the right hand plays that pickup. Or, better yet, you could have the left hand pass off the melody to the right hand. Short phrase endings are also really important. If you play Stella by Starlight, literally, you're going to be holding every single note. And that's going to place your right hand in the way of your left hand. So instead, I recommend changing at least some of these phrase endings to be short so that you're opening up a space for your left hand. Right? Short phrase ending, I remove my hand from the keyboard, and now my left hand has all the time in the world to comp. If I played a long phrase ending, I'd have to really work around that B flat. It's kind of just sitting there right in the middle of the range where I would really like to comp. So instead, I play it short and I give myself time to comp. Now, in those times when maybe you do have a lower note, you can play thinner voicings. You don't always have to play 4-note or even 3-note voicings. And this makes a lot of sense when you think about it, because oftentimes when the melody note is low, that melody note is the same note that you would use as the third or fourth note of your voicing. So, for instance, let's just see. Here I'm playing with 4-note voicings. But maybe if I'm holding that B flat, I'll just play a 3-note voicing, and the B flat itself actually becomes the fourth note. Here, another 3-note voicing. Just a 3-note voicing there. 3-note voicing. The melody expands, the voicings can, get to 4 notes or even bigger than that if you want. But yeah, if you don't have room for a 4-note voicing, don't try to force a 4-note voicing in there. There's no rule that says that your voicing must have the same number of notes. If you do want a kind of thicker voicing and your melody is really low, you can go down to what I call bass shell position, meaning that you're going to play the root note and then usually the seventh, or maybe the seventh and the third together. So for instance, so I'm saying this, even if we're playing with a trio, you can use these bass shell voicings in order to really communicate the chord and have a really substantial 3-note voicing that feels really full, that will stay out of the way of the melody. So watch how I might kind of transition back and forth. So 4-note voicing. Now I'm doing bass shells. Now maybe I come back to 4-note voicings. So that's one possible way. Sorry, that's my dad calling. Classy video yet again from this guy. That's another way that you can kind of keep those voicings nice and full. And I just want to reiterate one more time to not be afraid of interlocking thumbs. And I want to leave you by just showing you something that I've been experimenting with, which is intentionally making my thumbs interlock for the sake of coming up with interesting voicings. So, for instance, and watch my thumbs here. Like a different sound when your thumb is above your other thumb. Something with the way your hand is engineered. So it can be interesting to experiment with actually making those thumbs interlock for musical reasons. All right, folks, I better call my dad back. If you enjoyed this, you'll enjoy the Jazz Piano Fundamentals series. Probably a lot. I do talk about this kind of thing in Jazz Piano Fundamentals Book 1, and you get into it even more in Jazz Piano Fundamentals Book 2. If you watch this video all the way to the end, say something about thumbs. Thumbs are fun. They're one of my top 10 favorite fingers. All right, see you later, everybody.